But you never know that you could. And when you feel that way, ain't it good, good dancing in the red and gold. Dancing in the red and gold.
What's up, Faithful? Welcome to the 49er Faithful UK Live. As always, I'm your host, Paul Hope, and once again, I'm joined by the main man, everybody's favourite president, the one, the only, Lee Gowland is in the house.
Hey, buddy, how are you doing? I'm hoping my voice sounds a lot better tonight than what it did on the podcast on Monday night. I think I've recovered a little bit from the weekend. I hadn't actually realised how bad my voice was until I was having a business meeting on Monday afternoon, and straight away one of my business partners turned around and said, "You've been doing something with the NFL this weekend, haven't you?" I says, "How do you know that?" He said, "Because of your voice." So I hadn't realised how bad it was. I can still feel it a little bit, to be honest. I can still feel it. I feel a little bit hoarse, but definitely not as bad as what I was on Monday. There was a lot of shouting done, obviously geeing up the crowd. Every time we had a first down, I was straight in there. Oh, get them all going. So yeah, it was an experience at the weekend. Obviously, it's something that I hadn't done before. It was dropped on us at the last minute, but it was a learning experience. I've got a few things I would do differently next time.
Well, hold that thought, Lee. So everybody, we have a super show planned for you tonight. Now, after the magnitude of what happened at the weekend, I'm not lying. You all witnessed a UK official watch party victory. Curse, what curse? But we'll get into that later. Now, we've decided to break all that down and more. But because Lee has alluded to the struggles in his voice, I thought I can't be left to steer the ship on my own. And for the first time in 49er Faithful UK Live, we have some special guests joining us. Now, our first guest, I would say needs no introduction, but that would do the man a disservice. He has the most thankless job in sports entertainment, the voice behind the podcast, the man that has to keep me, Naji Kara, and Lee Gowland in check twice a week. The one, the only, I'm delighted to introduce the legend that is Gareth Ellis.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, everyone else.
Now,
Gareth.
That was a bit of a... I was thinking, who's coming on?
Well, to be fair, Gareth, I know you've been looking forward to being the guest because it is a thankless job keeping us in check. Now, everybody in the chat, you might need to help us keep Gareth in check because he might get a bit giddy, he might descend down some rabbit holes, and he might talk over me, which might be an experience for me to witness. But honestly, Gareth, we really appreciate you being the first guest on our show on Wednesday night. Wow. Yeah,
I'm honoured.
Guest. So, thank you. Well, it's well documented that I teased special guests. So obviously we've got Gareth in the house. Now, like Gareth, this next person shouldn't really need any introduction. And ever since we started the live, I've been dying to get him on. Our schedules haven't aligned. We were lucky to have him in the gold mine with us back in November. He's a big supporter of ours. He's definitely up there with Eric Oregard and Wayne Humphreys for flying the flag, because you'll have seen all the posts, you'll have seen all the tweets. I'm a big fan of the content he creates. I'm bowled over that he's decided to join us for this super show. It's my pleasure to introduce the one, the only, Ty Holston is in the house, baby.
Yeah. Hello, gentlemen. Wow. What a great introduction. Good evening, all.
Do you recognize the T-shirt, Ty?
I do recognize that. That is quite lovely. And it's funny, funny that you mentioned that. I've recently made myself one that I can reveal to you.
Ooh.
It's a special edition.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Gowland
88.
Love
it. Absolutely love it, buddy.
If you've been following Lee, you know what this means.
So we were going to start with the official watch party, but after that, Lee, come on. For those people who may have missed the news, Gowland 88 is going down in folklore. Why is that?
Going down in what?
Folklore. it's legend.
Go on then. You're going to have to explain it to us, Gowland 88. No, seriously, I don't know.
Oh,
No, what?
certain
How do
certain
you not
speed-
know?
Certain speeding ticket.
Oh,
88 miles
God.
an hour.
Oh,
He's
All
trying
that-
to forget it already.
All that hype. All that
I'm
build.
going through thinking, why is it 88? Oh, yes, 88. I still don't know how much that's going to cost me. It's going to be an arm and a leg. Because they did away with the fixed penalty. You used to get, so in the UK, you used to get fined a standard £100 for speeding. But I think it was only last year they did away with that. It's now means tested. So you get fined 1 week's wage.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that is
Oh, yeah.
whopping fine. So that's what I'm expecting. Gowland 88.
So there's a few
Love
people
it.
in the chat who were asking what it
Love
was. So Lee, being the president, up and down the UK for many meetings, was driving home. A very quiet road, I believe, Lee.
Oh,
And you
I wasn't driving home, I was driving to Ipswich.
Oh, you were driving down,
To
right?
Ipswich, yeah. I was going to the Sunderland match. Well, I was going to Ipswich for the weekend. The Sunderland match was the day after. Yeah, completely empty road. And I know a lot of people, especially that Neil Graham block, pointed out that was in the middle lane. It's because I didn't show you the picture after that where it showed 3 cars. Two of them in the inside lane, one of them right behind me. But yeah, I got stung. 88. And to be honest, I mean, I think that's I was quite fortunate that's come back saying 88 because both me and me missus know that's wrong. I was definitely doing 95 when I went past that camera.
Oh,
So I've been a little bit lucky, but I could have been 2 mile an hour luckier because I had been doing 86. I'd have been offered a driver awareness course, so I wouldn't have had any points on my license.
So first comment of the night, when Gowland hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious. So Ty,
You're right, yeah.
again, so Gareth asked backstage, everybody. So Paul, I'm not used to just turning up and being on a show.
Yeah, got no script.
He's normally the host. He normally has a script. That's why, Ty, I had to do the introductions, because if you listen to the
Right.
podcast, Gareth always, every week, has a new introduction to the show, and
Yes.
it bowls me over. They're very super. And we said, this is the live. We go live, and what happens, happens. Now, we didn't expect you to rock up with a T-shirt. Equally, I didn't expect Gowland to drop the bomb, especially after the epic success he had on Sunday. So, Lee, it is well documented that we had another official UK watch party at the weekend. Unfortunately, the main man, that is Nick Clark, was unable to fly across the pond to host. The bat signal went up, everybody. There was only one man for the job. So, Lee, come on, tell us a bit more. It must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was. So, as I alluded to earlier, I've learned a few lessons. I've definitely learned a few lessons. So I think it was only like Tuesday or last week. Tuesday, in fact, it might have even been Wednesday, when Nick said, look, being a little bit cheeky, but we kind of hope that you might host the event for us. And you know what I'm like, I'll bend over backwards for Nick because of the amount he's done for the UK fan base. I said, look, yeah, I can do that, no problem. I understood why he wanted me to do it, because getting somebody from the actual the venue to do it, who hasn't been to the NFL or who hasn't been to Levi Stadium and done all that gold mine stuff, they're not going to know what to do. So I thought, yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing it. I used to get up in front of hundreds of people speaking to do with my job years ago. So that didn't faze us. And so he put us into a distribution group with the venue, the videographer, the photographer, the PR people, the brand manager, all that sort of stuff, and had a playbook. They had a playbook of how everything was going to happen, what time was going to happen, exactly what the output was, everything like that. And when I saw it, I thought, oh, that's quite good. It's dead easy to follow that. Unfortunately, what I wish I'd done is check some of the links that they'd put in this playbook, because one of the links was for the introductions, the team introductions. So I knew it was in there, and I'd actually downloaded it during the week, quickly played it, but didn't really take any notice. I was just kind of doing something else, and that was in the background. So I watched it, and I thought, oh, that was canny, not actually realising what I'd just witnessed. So we get to the event and we go for a run through. We go for a run through with everybody about 9:45 because we wanted to get everybody G'd up so we could take some video, send that off to Sky. And I just had this nagging little feeling. And I said to the guy that was on the media center, the media system, I says, right, do us a favour, don't put that up on the big screens yet. Just play it on your laptop and show me it first. So I went round, started watching the player introductions, the player lined up in the tunnel, running out. And who should run out first? Mike McClinchy. Quickly followed by Daniel Brunskill. And I'm thinking, I can't show that on the screen. Everybody in this venue is going to know that's wrong. That's old footage. So I says, right, screw that. We're not going to do that. I'll just get up and I'll go through the names. So I didn't bother printing out the playbook. I thought I'll just use it on my phone. Well, my eyesight's terrible. Honestly, it's really terrible. I wear varifocals, and at the moment I think I've bent the frame, so I'm struggling to get the focus on there. So I basically had everything on my phone. So I'm looking at my phone. My head's bouncing up and down, trying to get the focal point. And I'm going through the team. So started off okay. Starting at right tackle, 68, Colton, the whole crowd, McKivitz. And then the next one, starting at right guard, number 50, Joe, silence. Utter silence. And I'm thinking, right, they've set us up here because not a single person uttered. So I thought that everybody had gone round each other and had a word with everybody saying, look, once you get to the second one, nobody say a word. See what he does. So I was waiting for them thinking, oh, come on, guys, it's Feliciano. And then I think it was Andy Smith turned around and said, he wears 55 and his first name's John, not Joe. So I moved the phone a little bit further away from us and said, oh, yeah, that's right. It is 55, John. Now, normally, had it not been the first time I'd done that, I'd have known. I wouldn't have even had to use my phone. I could have rang them off anyway. But because I was using the phone to go through and make sure I didn't make a mistake, I made a mistake because I couldn't bloody read it. So that was one learning point. So next time I'm going to print it out and get big letters so I don't need to keep on moving my head all over the place to try and find the focal point. But there was a couple of other things. So just using the mic in the venue. At the time, when I was starting to chance off the defence, let's go Niners, that sort of stuff, it sounded okay in my head. But then I watched the video back, and because,
it sounded great.
Because I had, sorry,
it sounded great. Let's go Niners.
It didn't. It sounded awful.
So just to stop you there, Lee, Ty. So me and Gareth were at home. We couldn't make the watch party. We were steadying the ship. So the bar manager had made contact with me and Lee of the previous watch party. So she sent me some footage of Lee on stage. As Gareth said, I thought Lee's pronunciation was pretty epic. So I uploaded that to our social media accounts. Lee texted me straight away, how on earth have you got that? So I messaged back and said, if I was at the venue, mate, I'd come and say hello. But to be fair, Lee, I'm laughing, Ty, because the microphones that me and Gareth have, Lee is a techno freak. Mm-hmm. He has the control of the sound. I'm always getting into trouble for being too loud, too quiet. So to hear Lee struggle with a microphone, got to admit, Gareth, what did you make of that?
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, so it wasn't so much. It wasn't so much the technology. It's just the thought process that was going through my head. Because we had it up quite loud in the event so they could hear us talking, straight away in my head I'm thinking, right, I can't shout the words like you normally shout a chant. I can't do that because it's going to distort, it's going to clip. And rather than just move the mic away from us, I kind of spoke the words, spoke the chant instead of chanting the chant. And it sounds so lame when it's spoken rather than chanted. But I didn't really hear it in my head at the time. But when I listened to the video afterwards, it was embarrassing. It was poor. So next time I know what to do. It's either one, go through a sound check at the start so when I shout it doesn't distort, or just move the mic away and then just scream my head off like I normally do. I mean, to be honest, I'm that loud. I didn't really need the mic anyway. When I was doing the first down chants during the game, I wasn't using the mic. I was just screaming at the top of my voice, which is why my voice was so bad on Monday night. But yeah, learning. Lessons learned.
So, Gareth, we were sat at home watching. Ty, where did you watch the game on Sunday?
I was at home as well watching.
So,
yes, indeed.
we had the fear of missing out. I mean, I was technically the closest, and I did debate jumping in the car. But after Gowland's 88-mile-per-hour fiasco, I thought I'll avoid that. But how did you feel, Gareth, watching the game at home, knowing that the watch party was going on and Lee was there without his supporting cast? Because he was flying solo, for want of a better word. I know there was admin members there, but normally myself's there or you're there. Or so. How did you feel, Gareth, watching the game at home?
I think I'd come to terms with the fact that I wasn't going to be able to do it. I was going to save it for the next event, hopeful for a good result. So I'd come to terms with it, and it's great seeing it on Facebook, and it's great seeing it as it happens. A few lives and loads of pictures coming in. So you kind of it's not the same as being there, but you don't feel completely out of it. There's still there's faces, and I think because we'd had the meetup at the box before, it kind of the room looked familiar and the layout, and you kind of understood everything, and you could see and you start looking at the pictures for thinking, oh yeah, I know that person. I can't remember their name, but I'm pretty sure I met them at the last watch party. So yeah, it's a bit odd, but we're all used to that, aren't we? We're sort of being part of things through our phones, even though you're 100 miles away or 5,000 miles away. You can still connect to all these sort of events through your phone, and and listening to Lee's "Let's Go Niners" was it was like being
that's exactly what it sounded like. Weak ass shit. That's what it was.
So to be fair, Ty, again, I poked fun at Lee with a microphone. As much as I've been doing these content creating for a while, I don't normally upload the videos to YouTube. Lee normally has that job, but because his phone's been blown up for some reason over the last 40 hours, I can't think why, I offered to upload the footage from the watch party. And with Wayne Humphrey's help, who edited the footage, I uploaded that at midnight last night. There's 2 videos. They're literally a couple of minutes long. We've had 600 views on one video, 150 on the other. And what I wanted to say at this point, Lee, I don't know how other content creators got the footage. What's been amazing is, as Gareth said there, the watch party from England has been mixed in with the watch party from Mexico, mixed in with fan reactions around the world. So obviously for me and Gareth, it was really late in the UK. I was trying to be quiet. No letters from Tracy or the girls from me. But you're on the East Coast, Ty, so you're not 5,000 miles away. But does it sometimes feel like you're closer to us in the UK than you are to the West Coast when you're watching a game like that?
Yeah. Like I discussed with you previously, my personal timetable is I get up, sometimes 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, So from a timing standpoint, I'm like closer to you guys than the West Coast, right? When you get to those late primetime games, I'm kind of like, okay, I got to stay awake. I got to get energized, and then it's like, okay, the West Coast seems so far away. like East Coast, the UK seems so much closer. So like I was tapping into what you guys were doing, and I was actually thinking of you guys during the meetup. Like, man, that must be a great event to go to. So there is kind of a connection there.
The reason I asked Gareth is Ty joined us in the gold mine. One of the regrets of mine was not getting to spend enough time with Ty, because I went to the gold mine game. We watched the game together, and obviously we had to get back to San Francisco. Ty went back to his hotel. So it would be epic, Ty, if you could join us for a watch party in the UK. They're growing more and more. We've had, it seemed to be 1 a year, and now it's like 4 or 5. So it would definitely be good for you to come across. But that Mexico and UK video, if you haven't seen it, do head over to Twitter or X, and we've shared it on there. Now, Gareth, I've brought you on as a guest tonight. You're not the host. Lee has no idea what questions, anything that you and Ty are going to ask. Because as I said, this is the live. We roll with the punches. So I'm going to hand the mic over to you, Gareth. And this is your opportunity to ask El Presidente anything you want. Watch party related, Niners related. Come on, buddy. This is your moment.
I am quite fascinated to get an idea of how the atmosphere changed, because everyone must have been pumped up for kickoff.
I thought that was coming straight away.
And then, it's going to be the obvious question then, kind of, okay, they've had a good first drive and scored. We've seen that before. We know our defense makes some adjustments. That's okay. We'll go and do the same. It'll be 7-7 games early. Was Was there a point where the atmosphere, it suddenly really started to go quiet beyond that kind of, fair enough, we've started badly? Was there a point when it was like, oh, this is going badly?
Yep, it was the third touchdown. The third touchdown for the Lions. There was a noticeable quieting of the crowd. It was like being in a morgue, to be honest. We started off, everybody came in. I think everybody had, including myself, we'd all underestimated the Lions. We were all on a high. We came in, we expected to thump them. I don't think anybody really truly thought it was going to be a close game. Even though, I mean, my prediction was like 8 points and nothing more than that. But I didn't think it was going to be that close. I just didn't have the balls to go for the 40-26 scoreline I was going to. Luckily enough, I didn't, of course. But yeah, we started off on a high. It was quite impressive, the atmosphere. We got everybody warmed up before the game started at 10:15, get all the videos out, stuff like that. It started, they scored straight away. It was like, don't sweat it. The Dolphins did this to us last year and we went on and we thumped them. But then you could see we were struggling straight away. It just didn't look like us. We were missing tackles left, right and centre. It looked absolutely awful. And it just got quieter and quieter and quieter. It got to the point where, I think I said this on the pod at half time, I did the raffle draw, and then I quickly went down to Gents and came out. I was talking to Jonathan Rafe Green and I said, look, that's probably it, because we're not built to come from behind, especially not this score. We're just not built. We haven't done it before. I know the week before we come back from 5 points down, 7 points down. But this is different. This was 17 points down. This wasn't Jim Harbaugh's team back in 2013, 2012. This is a completely different team. We weren't built that way. But within the space of literally a minute from starting walking up those stairs to go back into the venue and actually getting back to being stood next to Andy Hodgson, who I was stood next to most of the night, I'd completely changed again. And I turned around to Andy and says, you know what, it's not too bad. We get the ball to start the second off. All we need to do is score 7 on there, get a stop, score another 7, game on. and so mentally, I'd gone through the both ranges of emotions in the space of 2 minutes. And I'd kind of got myself back into it. And obviously it didn't take too long to get back into the game. It did, because we were down to 7 minutes in the third quarter before everybody started to go absolutely mental again. But the thing that was noticeable when the second half started was I think we lost about a third of the crowd. People went home at half time. That was it. They consigned themselves to, that's it, we're losing this. And they'd gone. And I think that helped the atmosphere a little bit, because everybody else that was left seemed more determined to make some noise. They seemed more determined that we were going to stick it to the Lions. And like I said, once we got down to 7 minutes in the third quarter and there was that little chink of hope, you could just see the spirits lifted straight away. And it just kind of steadied up all the way through to the end of the fourth quarter, where, as you've seen on the videos, it completely exploded. People were hugging people they'd never met until that night. I mean, that was the thing, and that's the great thing about these meetups, You go through the same things. You stood around a load of people you've only just met. But when that happens, you don't care that you've only just met them.
Yep.
You hug them. You jump up and down. You cry with them. That's the type of atmosphere it was. And obviously it was our first official watch party win. We have been to meetups before when we won. I mean, the infamous Edinburgh meetup, which was an unbelievable game against the New Orleans Saints, when George Kittle ran with half the team on his back. It was the same type of thing there, but on a larger scale, because there was still a good 70 to 80 of us left in the venue. So yeah, I mean, we went through the ringer. I know that there's a few people in the chat that I haven't seen Martin in there. So Martin, actually, tell you what, I'm in the starred one, not the live one. He might be in there. He is in there, Moonraker Martin.
So
Martin,
Lee has the same controls as me. so it's unusual for me. I can hold off. But Lee, the live chat, go into that, not the starred one. So go on, put Martin's chat up.
It's because I was going to show a chat that was on there before. So Martin, I mean, let's face it, Martin, you'd had a lot to drink, hadn't you, son? He got to half time, and I think Martin was so down, he was ready to go back to the hotel. But luckily enough, he got a pep talk from Gary Park. Gary Park came over, he had a word with him, cheered Martin up a little bit, and I think Martin made the best decision of his life not to go back to the hotel. Although I think he made the best decision not to go back to the hotel, but I think he wished that he didn't drink as much as what he did in the second half, because I didn't realise how much he'd had to drink by that point. I started hitting the fireballs during half time. So I kind of roped Martin into the fireballs as well as a few other people. So he was a little bit tender the morning after. But yeah, that was like one example. The other one is Matty Johnson. Matty Johnson was going to drive back anyway, so he wasn't drinking. And I think it got to a point where Matty was like, "Yeah, we've lost this. I'm just going to go home," because he had a long drive to Wolverhampton. And then I would imagine the others were all local to us, or local to Leeds, I should say, which is why they kind of just drifted off. But yeah, unbelievable scenes. I mean, it wasn't just the end either. Every significant player, there was an unbelievable scenes. Everybody jumping up and down, going absolutely mental. And again, that's what meetups are all about. And I know there's a few people who've left that meetup on Monday morning with friends that'll be friends for a lifetime.
Well, you're preaching to the wrong man, because Ty, as much as we've seen him on the screen, you'd met Ty, you'd met him at the Giants game, and obviously I've put Ty's channel at the bottom. So I introduced Ty at the start. You do need to check out his awesome channel. I've been lucky enough to be on there a couple of times. Lee, you've ticked off something that's on my bucket list. As much as I do podcasts, Ty, I've never done a face-to-face, like a live interview. So that's something that I want to do. But remember, Lee, Ty was in the gold mine with us a lot. And every time something good happened, we were high-fiving, we were hugging. And one of my memories is Armstead getting a sack, and me and Ty ended up stood next to each other. Ty's wearing his 91 Armstead, and we're both doing the celebration.
In the belly. Oh, yeah.
And like you said, Lee, that's why for me, Ty, on Sunday, the fear of missing out was the first one since I've really become active in the group in 2018 that I'd missed. Tracy tried to make me feel better. About 5 o'clock, she said, "I know as much as you want to be there, Paul, but just think what the atmosphere will be like if they lose." And then I said to the chaps on the pod, she went to make me a drink before the game started. She walked into the front room and the Lions are already 1 touchdown up, and she uttered the infamous, "So you're losing already then?" Then at half time, I get a text message off her saying, "I wonder what the atmosphere is like in Leeds." At which point, me and Gareth had already been firefighting on the group, because I want you to touch a bit more, Gareth, like I said at the start, about the stop-start of American football and people being a bit more emotional, because it means they can vent a little bit more, can't they? And I'm not criticising anyone for the fandom. We've got Jay Peplow in the house. He's normally my go-to guy, Ty. Me and Jay are normally texting each other during the games. We're always dead positive. We're dead upbeat. We always take the credit when things go right. Yeah. But Gareth, you said it better than I could on the pod. So I'm going to hand back over to you since you've rejoined us about that stop-start nature and how people can be emotional with the phones.
Yeah, it gives people time, because we're, for most of us, when we're alone as well, you want to engage with other people, and I think that's easy. If you're together, people will say things, and it's a bit, you say things without thinking, or you just move on the conversation. It's not that important. When you put it on a chat, it's there forever. You've put that opinion out. If you're really frustrated and you show it to people around you, it's kind of ignored. When you vent it, I think it lasts. It's there for people to see, and it's a different experience. But I think the NFL games just lend themselves to that, because particularly for like me, you have the ad breaks. As soon as the ad breaks come on, you're on your phone. It gives you time to do it. Whereas we're saying that people who are used to watching soccer or rugby, the game just keeps going. The game doesn't stop, so you don't really get chance to breathe and stop and do stuff on your phone because you're watching the game, and the game just keeps moving on. I mean, obviously people do that, but I think you have, particularly when there's an ad break after a turnover, you know, we've just punted, you get that 2 minutes to, you know, to kind of dwell on what's just happened, the pass that's just been badly thrown, or the drop, or the sack we've just taken, or whatever. You instantly sit there and you have to cope with it for 2 minutes before the game starts, and you can go on to the next thing. And I think it's something about the rhythm of the game. It's maybe a good or a bad thing, but it lends people, I think, to immediately vent stuff on social media, which people are fine. You know, it's we're not lecturing about how people choose to enjoy the games, but a lot of the time it's kind of like it's a bit. Think about it before you say it. Maybe it's very easy to be very wrong quickly, just by that instant of frustration, and then
Yeah.
you put it out, and you kind of and we know it's just that frustration, and you're just frustrated, but it's it's an experience, I think, for those of us at home and isolated, and you experience not only the game through the TV, but your game through the phone as well, with the other fans and what other fans are saying, and how other fans are reacting. And it's the modern world, isn't it? It's become part of it. The fact that we can interact with each other this easily, or people have got nothing better to do with their lives on a Wednesday afternoon than to sit and watch us talk about this stuff.
So do you stay off your phone, Ty, or because I don't go on X or Twitter during the game normally because I'm enjoying the game. We normally have a game day thread on Facebook. We have a game day thread on Discord. It always surprises me how emotional. Some people only seem to vent; they never seem to
Yes.
celebrate. I see some names that only seem to take joy in when we're struggling. And I stepped away from English football for that reason, Ty, and I fell in love with the NFL. I fell in love with the 49ers. I've seen some terrible football. And all year I've been banging the drum about how special this team is. But what do you do during the game? Do you have buddies that you talk to on your phone, or do you just literally zone out and watch the game for a couple of hours?
Yeah, I have buddies I talk to. I have my East Coast Red and Gold podcast crew, and we tend to send messages back and forth. Normally, because there's usually one of us at a game, we do a good job of making it to a game. But for the most part, I tend to stay off my phone because for two specific reasons. One, I love to focus on the game and actually watch it and digest what's happening, right? And like I love this team. I'm so passionate about it, and it's not just the team; it's everything that's going on in the periphery. Like I'm looking for camera people that I've met and different media people. Are they on the sidelines? You know, things like that. So I'm fully engrossed with just the whole atmosphere of the game. The second reason why I try to stay off my phone as much as possible, and it's what Gareth mentioned. A lot of people are quick to react, and it's an overreaction most times. And that overreaction can be both positive and negative. A lot of it is mostly negative, however, because people are just so quick to right? They just want to say something. And I don't want to be one of those people. I like to sit back, decompress from what happened, whether good or bad, and then, you know, try to say, okay, what's next for us as a team? Where do we go from here? So that's the reason why I stay off.
No, that's good to know, Ty. So Lee, I know you're eager to jump in. Now we've got a few friends from across the pond who have been big supporters of ours from day one, and there's been a lot of mention in the chat about the curse.
Keep talking. Keep talking. I don't know if you can hear that ping, pinging.
No. So I was going to ask Lee, Gareth, but I'm going to come back to you because I'm the host tonight and I get to pick on people. So please explain to our good friend Gopher what is the curse that has been mentioned in the chat.
Well, I mean, it came from nowhere, really. I mean, we had, I think, our first official 49ers watch party in Leeds. We lost the game, didn't we? It was a sort of half. It had been the Chicago, the week one game last season, and it's sort of got cancelled because the Queen had died in the UK, and kind of everything's shut for 2 weeks. So that was kind of cancelled, but some people still had tickets booked, so people went, and we lost. Then I think it was rescheduled for the Atlanta game, and we lost. And then, of course, it's just, I think it's sports fans in general. Sports fans, everybody's got superstitions, and people look for patterns and things. And as soon as there's a link between two events, it's a pattern, and that's it. Suddenly,
Only takes two.
and that's it. As soon as there's two, it's a curse. It was the Leeds watch party curse, and there was then, of course, the NFC Championship game where there was a watch party in Leeds against the Eagles, and of course we lost that. And suddenly, it's like proof. This idea of these random unconnected events have this coincidence, and before you know it, there's this idea that we can't win a game if we have a Leeds watch party. So that is the non-existent curse, which has now been well and truly stamped into the floor and set fire to, and will never be talked about again.
And before Lee speaks, no, it wasn't because me and Gareth weren't there. And if there's another watch party in Leeds, we will be there. I don't care what you say. Lee Gowland said it better than anyone, Ty. On the pod on Monday night, he said any notion of a curse is ridiculous. So my good friend said it better than me. But Lee, everybody can see you're up to something. You're taking the focus away from the show.
Yeah, sorry. So obviously I've kept me do not disturb on. So as soon as information starts being drip fed, I can pass that on. So I'll start off with the 49ers having a few challenges. They're having a few challenges with the organising of this, with the venue and stuff like that. But I can definitely tell you that London is not the venue.
That narrows it down to the rest of the country.
Well, we're not as big as America.
I can
Ty can
also tell
attest
you-
to that. You know, it's the UK, America.
I can also tell you that there will definitely be a watch party.
Way. That's good news. Good news.
It is literally coming through bit by bit here. So hopefully, what time are we on? Right, we're only on 25 tonight. Yeah, hopefully by the end of the show, he'll finally get around to actually typing what he's typing now. And told us where it's at. But London is not the venue.
So Lee teased out earlier, Ty. I don't know if you saw me. So because we've got some fans on Facebook, some on Instagram, some on Twitter, some on Discord, Lee put a little message in the Facebook group saying, I may have some news regarding the watch party ahead of tonight's live. So the viewing figures are through the roof. So this man knows how to sell a show. So we appreciate that. It is news of sorts because it had been rumoured, Ty, that it was either going to be Leeds. Now, the Leeds connection is because the 49ers own Leeds United. Someone else mentioned that the London watch party was also a loss as well, Gareth, so you could argue it wasn't just Leeds London. But the rumours were, Ty, that normally we have our own Super Bowl party planned at the start of the season.
Right.
That's what we've done for the last couple of years. But when we started working with Nick Clark, obviously we decided we'd be stupid to book our own party when our Niners get to the Super Bowl and Nick Clark reaches out and says, hi, Lee, I'm throwing a watch party for you.
Right.
The difficulty being is since the NFC Championship game finished at like 3:30 in the morning over here, me and Lee have had countless messages from excitable fans. It's been amazing. It's been great. But obviously we have full-time jobs. We have families. And I think people believed that we were keeping a secret. Now, I made the mistake yesterday, Ty, of responding to someone saying, I hope it's not London, winky face. And straight away, everyone was like, it's Leeds. It's Leeds. I was like, the only man who knows is El Presidente, because I'm not trusted with such news. But
to be fair, I mean, I'm just finding out now. So I didn't know either.
So, but I'm backing you up here. I'm backing you up. Now,
well,
Brett.
It shows how.
Oh, see, Brett's just broke the news. It's the candlestick in Falkirk.
Go on, Gareth.
Yeah, that would be good. I think it's what we've always said. If you go to a watch party, you're going to keep going to them. I don't think there's anyone who's turned up to a watch party and said, "Oh, you know what, I won't go to another one." And we've always encouraged people to turn up and encouraged people to say, like a lot of people, I don't really have any of my personal friends who follow the NFL at all. All my NFL friends are through this group and kind of virtual, so you only get to see them every now and then. So that brings me to want to come to the watch parties, and I think a lot of people have the same. Where for most of us, the NFL experience is quite often quite lonely. You might know a few friends, but the chances of you having a group of 49ers fans around you is very, very slim. So most of the time, it's 1 a.m. and you're on the sofa on your own, and the opportunity to go and experience it in the same way that we would experience, a Premier League match or a rugby match or whatever you're into. You can go to a pub and find fans and go and enjoy it. You can't do that with a lot of the NFL, particularly because it's late. So a lot of pubs do show NFL games, but probably not the late games, and they're not big events unless it's the Super Bowl. So the opportunity to come out and actually experience it in the basic thing about sports, which is this shared experience with other people, whether you're in the stadium or whether you're in the bar, or whether you're just at home with your extended family, because obviously we know a lot of people in America, the Super Bowl is a family event. People come over, you get your neighbors over, you get the barbecue going and things, and it becomes a whole event. We don't have that, and the watch parties give us something that most of us don't have any other chance to get. So I think we've always plugged them, and I think it's true that remember the first one I went to was Edinburgh, and there were maybe 15 of us, and it was quite nice because you had plenty of time to go around to see everybody and learn everybody's name and meet people. And then of course the next one it was like 60 people.
Wow.
And I'm certainly disoriented because people who listen to the pod, everyone knows me, and I don't know who any of these people are. I can't remember any of their names. I'm terrible with names, absolutely terrible. Straight in one ear and it's straight out the other. So but it's a great experience seeing other people who have clearly just met start chatting about games and about players, and they're best mates 20 minutes later. And that's what the watch parties are about. It's an experience we don't get without a group like this and without the support of people like Nick. So
Ty, as a good friend of the community, obviously across the pond as an American, what do you make of the 49er Faithful UK community? Because you're a big part of that. Me and you have connected. We watch all the other content creators. We're in the chats. We've tried to bring an element of what you guys have to the UK. And like Gareth said, for us, the Super Bowl, it'll be 11:30 p.m. kickoff. Yeah. So what we tend to do is take over a bit like the invasion trips, and we go to a city and we're there all day. But what's it like seeing this grow from across the pond? Because I know you're a good friend of the show, good friend of the community, but I got you on tonight because I wanted your viewpoint of these watch parties and seeing our community grow.
I think it's wonderful. It's incredible. And that's what this team and this community is all about. It's about the togetherness. It's about growing together. It's about celebrating and being in this union, as friends, family, teammates, whatever you want to call us, to support this team. And I love the growth because it shows you that, we in the States, it's not just, we're not alone, right? We can branch outside the States and see someone wearing the red and gold and be like, hey, and we're instant friends, right? We have that connection. Even though we've never seen each other in our lives, we automatically have an instant connection. So to see that grow and see what you guys are doing, I think is just phenomenal. And that's the way, I feel every community should be that way, whether you live in a small town here in the States or you're from Mexico or wherever you are, get together. You'd be amazed at the friendships that you can make just bonding over this team. So what you guys are doing is incredible. That's why, I gravitated toward you. I support you in any way that I can. And I feel like I'm a member of the community, even though, we're separated by an ocean.
So,
but
so
the
I think what
connection
you
is
just
there.
said there, Ty, is exactly what we wanted all the time from all along from meetups. It's that community atmosphere. It's the type of thing where if you go to a meetup, you no longer feel alone because everybody in this chat, everybody who from the UK in this chat, at one point or another, they'll have sat in the house by themselves watching a game, thinking, "Am I the only person that's doing this?" And it is a lonely feeling. You still enjoy the sport, but not as much as when you go to a meetup because you're not alone. And as soon as you realise that, you never want to really be alone again. You want meetup after meetup after meetup. And that's why what you tend to find is once you've been to one, you start going to them all. As long as you've got the financial means to go to them all. Obviously, with the UK being quite spread apart, it does cost money to get to them all. But that's the type of thing that we've always tried to promote within the 49 Faithful UK. Get yourself to a meetup, meet other fans, because it's going to be the best decision you ever make.
And we do appreciate the support of someone like yourself, Ty. Like I said, when lockdown came in, I think me and you've touched upon this when we've been on your channel, the world kind of grew a lot smaller. We were all locked down for a reason. I was actually talking, Lee, remember the last Super Bowl the 49ers were in was when the COVID had just hit. The coronavirus was just coming out. A few people thought I was mad going up to Newcastle because I think they'd had 2 cases. And we're not going to go down the full rabbit hole of that game, but the feeling when those lights came on at 5 a.m, and it felt surreal knowing that I was there with friends, family, and we've had that bond. And that was like, I would say, our first real big watch party tie, because obviously it was the Super Bowl. Everyone was excited. We'd got to Newcastle early. We'd all met up all day. It was funny because Newcastle's colours are black and white stripes. Yeah, all day in the city on the Sunday, there was us walking around red and gold, and all the locals were like, "What's happening today?" And we're like, "Oh, Super Bowl, baby!" So, and you've touched upon it there. This community, as much as I was gutted not to be there on Sunday, I was back at home doing what I do best. I was plugged into social media. I was tweeting the pictures out. I was supporting everyone that was there. One of my favourite moments, El Presidente may not be too big for his boots, Ty, because at the end of the game, he video calls little old me. And we just had a moment where we were like, this is amazing. I can't wait for the Super Bowl. Now, the reason Lee had to call me, Ty, is because my good friend Brett Sinclair was supposed to video call me and watch the game virtually with me. So at this point, Lee, do you want to take over and explain why Brett didn't join me for the game on Sunday?
Because unlike me, Brett's a technophobe. He doesn't know how it works. And he managed to set his alarm for 11 o'clock to wake himself up half an hour before the game. So you'd probably have a beer or 2 or 5, knowing Brett. Unfortunately, he set it for 11 o'clock the next morning and not 11 o'clock on Sunday night. So he didn't wake up until after the game had finished. So he missed the full game. So I've got a little bit more news.
Oh,
No.
So the event venue is not a shared venue.
oh.
So
You're drip feeding this. You're really milking this.
You
For,
You know what he's going to do now,
Oh,
Gareth?
yeah.
He's going to go, and
He's
for
like a
more
pro.
news, tune in to the 49er Faithful UK
Yep.
pod coming tomorrow. And then he's just going to press mic.
well, all I'm doing is drip feeding you what Nick's drip feeding me because Nick's winding me
it's
up
Nick.
some chronic here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Brett guilty. So it's just little stories like that, though, Ty, because we are watching the games so late. And before Nick Clark got involved, the watch parties were very similar to what Chapman and Breezy do. They would basically go to a city. They'd say, right, we're meeting up at this place. Come and meet us. And we used to move them around. But obviously, as soon as the Niners get involved and add the official tag, and obviously, I would say Joe Staley coming across and partying with us was the pinnacle. But that would do Lee and the chaps on Sunday a disservice, because that Super Bowl feeling, that must have been hard to bottle up. I mean, last year in Leeds, when CMC scored the touchdown against the Eagles, we went absolutely crazy, and we all know how that game ended. But Lee, come on, get off your phone. You're not Paul Hope. Join in the conversation, or I'm going to have to hand back over to Gareth on time.
So I just want to respond to Jay's message there. All I've been told is it's an event. It's a dedicated event space, but they haven't told
taken
us
over
where
a space.
a dedicated event space.
All right.
I don't know
So
what
people
that
are
kind of
people are
means,
putting
a
it together. You
dedicated
see,
event space.
Yeah. They're taking that drip feed and just putting it all together.
So luckily, you've killed the vibe. We're all
Just
waiting.
wait. Yeah. No, it'll come to it. I don't know if he's doing this on purpose, but he's given us information that I would expect to come last. And the information that we really want, which I wanted first,
Yeah.
he's probably just going to give us last.
So do you know what's great? Do you know what's
So
great
that's
about
the,
this,
well, that's the
Gareth?
one that we want to know. Where?
What's great about this is when Nick Clark first reached out, Ty, it still feels surreal. Lee ringing me at work and saying, Nick Clark from the 49ers wants to have a virtual Zoom call with us. And we were thinking, oh, God, what have we done now? Are we in trouble?
Yeah.
Have to see social media, stop using the flag. And then obviously he comes on the Zoom and he's like, look, guys, we really want to reach out. We want to host a watch party. Now, I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be a one and done. I thought we were going to have an official watch party that we're going to kind of take advantage of what we've done in the UK. And then they've just kept continuing on. Now, the streamline of that service, before Lee interrupts, is Lee is now the man in the know. So when people text me, Ty, and say, what do you know? I'm like, I'm just the same as everybody else.
Yep.
I'm just waiting for El Presidente to drop that news.
See, even Paul thinks I always know more than what I do know. But I've always been open and say, Paul, I don't know. I'm like you. But I do have some other bit I can drip feed. So the plan is to announce on Friday morning. So that's announced it to the British media. We will get the link the same time as the ticketing company, and then public sale will go on at 11 a.m. It will be £10 a ticket, but that includes your first food item and drink.
Right. So
Sounds
they've previously been free entry, Ty, but to be honest, a charge for a Super Bowl watch party isn't unusual given the fact that it's on late, the cost involved in the venue. So, I mean, we did used to go to a casino company and they used to charge us £25 a head. So look at that cheeky smile. I'm about to talk and then I'm like, what's he going to say now? What's he going to say?
He's got something. He's got something.
So I now know the venue, but I'm going to leave it till the end.
I was just going to leap into Savely. You'd reminded me talking about the lockdown, where I think after that Super Bowl meetup, that all went pretty sour at the end. I remember going out for the first time in July and sort of chatting with mates and saying, when was the last time you were out? And I was thinking back and I was thinking, it was that Super Bowl night. So that kind of finished me off. I didn't go out for like 4 months after that night. So you had a long time to digest that. And I, for one, am very happy with this Super Bowl matchup. More so, I think, than the Ravens, just because of the unfinished business. I was reading an article today. There's surprisingly few players on both teams left over. They're
From that last Super Bowl.
Yeah. They said, it's 10 or something across both teams. I thought, what? Can't be that few, surely. But yeah, the turnover's there, isn't it?
So on that note, because we will discuss it more in depth on the pod, come on, Ty. I don't want to put you on the spot with early predictions and stuff, but there was a lot of talk. No, there was a lot of talk, Gareth. 49ers, Ravens, 49ers, Chiefs. And you've given your thoughts there. So what's your thoughts on the Super Bowl meetup then, Ty? Would you prefer the Ravens or are you happy it's the Chiefs?
I was fine with either team, to be honest with you. I think we match up well against either team. And I feel we were going to be victorious.
Oh, yeah.
So it didn't bother me either way. I was like, bring on whomever. The Chiefs make it fun because we can always say, all right, we get to get some get back now. We get to get a do-over and do this right. So, yeah.
And it's the best quarterback in the league versus Mahomes. So
exactly.
What kind of better matchup do you want?
I like how you managed to get that in there, Gareth. You managed that rather well. So,
managed.
Any breaking news, Ty, of any what you'll be rocking for Super Bowl? So I have my Ayuk Road White, which I'll be rocking because I did want the 94 throwbacks. But have you got another special T-shirt in the making? So I changed mid-episode, everybody, because this is my Club 85 that my good friend Ty sent over. Sales of Gowland 88 will go on after this podcast, and Ty will drop them on the website. But knowing you've got something special lined up, Ty. You're going to be dripping white in Vegas. So come on, let us into the secret of what you'll be rocking for the Super Bowl.
I have some ideas that I'm putting together. So you'll probably see me on social wearing something, but I haven't finalized anything, but things are in the works.
I like to hear it. So Mike Davies had tweeted earlier and said Lee wasn't allowed to announce the news till Mike was here. So rather than us end the show like Oliver's asking for, nothing like giving people what they want, Lee said he's not announcing the venue till the end of the show. So people in the chat are like, end the show.
End the show. We've heard enough. End the show.
So just for the benefit of Mike, because he's only just getting in, he hasn't heard the rest of it. So the host city is not London. We know it's a dedicated, well, I know all of it. You know, it's a dedicated event space. It's going to be announced to the British media on Friday morning. We will get the link, and when I say we, the group will get the link the same time as the ticket and stuff. So we should get maybe an hour or two head start on getting tickets. There'll be a £10 cover charge, and that'll cover your first bit of food and your first drink. And that's it for now, without giving away what it's actually going to be, where it's going to be, which I don't want to do yet. I have asked a question. So I have suggested to Nick Clark that any promotional material for the watch party mentions a whiteout to get everybody in road jerseys.
This isn't Eurovision, you know, Lee. We're not ticking off cities across the UK. People want to know, but we'll respect. See, this is what he does, Ty El Presidente.
Oh, yeah.
Has his own style. So, chaps, before we let Lee release the news, because we are coming on the hour, Gareth, you stayed longer than your half an hour. So
yeah, well.
How have you found your first live experience, Gareth? It's a bit different to the pod, isn't it, buddy?
It is, and I didn't have to do an hour of prep and make sure we had all our things that we've got to go through, so that we can forget and kind of keep an eye on the clock. So yeah, it's been fun. It is, and it's different to keep it. You know, the pod. I feel the pod needs a structure, but this kind of doesn't so much because it changes every week. But I think it's good to have at least a little bit of structure with a pod, because otherwise it will wander all over the place.
So I did say at the start, Ty, that he has the hardest job in sports entertainment. I said that to you when you captured me in Levi shouting that. It's not a saying. It is. He has to keep in place. He is the voice.
Your voice, really.
The pod. But Barry, stop reading too much into it. I don't know where it is. Ty, how have you found your first experience on the live? Because I know you've done other shows. Yeah. I'm a big fan of what you do. I reached out to Bryant because I'm free on Saturday evening. The missus is away for the weekend. The kids are off out. So I was like, might get on a show. So I've reached out to Bryant and see whether he'll have me on. But what's your experience with the 49 Faithful UK Live?
Oh, it's a blast. You know, you guys are so easygoing and comfortable to speak with. And it's a great show. You know, I recommend everybody, hey, if they reach out and ask you to be a guest, pop on. You'll have a good time. So
do you want to give your show a promotion here? I'm flying your channel across the bottom because I said, so this is over to you. Tell us more and where people can find you more, because I know who you are and I watch all your stuff. But come on, we need to get Ty some more subscribers to his channel.
Yep. So I'm Ty Alston. That's my Twitter handle, my X handle there. That's my handle on every social media platform. I kept it universal, just Mr. Ty Alston. My channel is the Stay Faithful podcast. It's at Stay Faithful VIP, because it's a very important podcast where I speak to very important people. And that's you, my fellow faithful. We just get together, have an open conversation about life, liberty, and the 49ers. That's what it's all about.
So, Lee, come on. Are we ending the show and are you breaking the news? Or are you going to drag it out for a few more views?
No, I can tell you. So I didn't hint, but there's a reason why. There's two reasons why I think a whiteout would go down very well. Obviously, the first one is we're going to be wearing white, and the Chiefs are going to be wearing red. So if any Chiefs fans do turn up, which I don't think they will because it's dedicated event space, then we'd like be separate. The other one is having everybody in white will go down very well with this particular venue. So the venue is Elland Road.
Hey.
It's in the Centenary Pavilion, which I've just looked, and it looks absolutely huge. So it's just across the road from Elland Road. So I'm now thinking, I wonder if they're going to do what they said they would do last year. So there was a plan in place last year that if we'd get into the Super Bowl, they were going to try and create an authentic tailgate experience in the car park at Elland Road.
Oh, wow.
That would be interesting if they do that, because a lot of people haven't been to an authentic tailgate. Although it won't be authentic because you're going to be paying money for it, whereas normal tailgates, you tailgate with friends. So there's a challenge. There's going to be a challenge after the game. If we win, I don't think anybody's going to be bothered about that challenge. If we lose, everybody's going to be bothered about that challenge. So Elland Road is obviously 2.5, 3 mile outside the city centre. So getting back at 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, maybe, well, I don't know how many's going to turn up to this. We had 500 in London. With it being the Super Bowl, potentially we would have more than that. So
whereabouts in Leeds is it, did you say?
It's at Elland Road.
Elland Road.
It's just opposite Elland Road. It's actually part of the football. It's owned by Leeds United. It's part of their hospitality.
Right.
And it's a huge, basically, conference centre type place.
Wow.
So there you go. So what's going to happen now, Ty, is everybody's going to be rushing to book travel, hotels.
Yeah.
So
Oh no, Eddie.
I've just texted Tracy, get on the hotel and travel. But what's going to be good about this, Ty, for us is some of the feedback that we've had is the official watch parties that Nick Clark hosts are amazing. But because the venues have kind of always been full of capacity and there's always been a bit of a worry about getting in, people go early. So like, for example, Poor Martin got through under the bus. He's a Liverpool fan. So he went to the box on Sunday to watch Liverpool play, which was 2:30 in the afternoon here. Obviously, he had a few drinks, so his day went quite long. But what's going to be good for the Super Bowl is we can go to Leeds City Centre in the afternoon. We can all meet up. Like Lee said, Leeds United play in white. So when we've rocked up before Ty in red, it has caused a little bit of contentious issue because their main rivals, Manchester United, wear red. So like Lee said, everyone wearing white will go down. But there's a question coming in, Lee, about under 18s.
So I've asked that question. I would imagine yes. I can't see why it wouldn't. Everything the NFL does and anything the 49ers does is always inclusive of kids. That's why they try to make it a family environment. So what was Jonty saying there? Elland Road? Oh, that was before. Was that before I broke the news?
Yeah, he was just asking. So
Road.
What's happening tonight, Ty? Obviously, you watch most weeks. Gareth's fairly new to the live. We normally have time to put everyone's comments up in order, but this has been epic tonight. The chat has been on fire. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. The chat is just going on. Now, to be honest, Lee, I know you're probably keen to keep talking longer and longer, but I'm keen to get my train travels and hotel booked.
Book it now.
There we are.
Yeah.
On the phone already.
So Wayne, the photographer, has booked it. So is there anything else, Lee, that you would like to talk about last weekend? Because we have been going for an hour and 4.
I mean, overall, the meetup, the watch party, I think it definitely went well. For everybody that stayed to the end, it went well. It was excellent. I think one of the other lessons learned I had was they'd sent across some giveaways. And I didn't think much of it at the time because not the giveaways, the raffle prizes. Before with the raffle prizes, it's been like 4 items, one at the end of each quarter, and it's been something significant. Like it's been a signed football, it's been a jersey, it's been one of the gold chains, something like that. So I wasn't expecting having to work so hard to separate these bloody raffle prizes. They sent 19 raffle prizes. Some of them were good, some of them were not so good. So you had 6 Jerry Rice posters, And I don't know about you, but I mean, I'm a grown man. I don't put posters up. That's not a poster, by the way. That's a hand painted picture
Yeah,
from.
it's a difference.
Yeah. They had signed photos of Joe Nedney, so that was good. They had a signed Kittle ball. They had some pins for your shirt, a couple of t-shirts, a couple of caps. So I had to try and split these out into 4 lots. And because of the balance of raffle prizes, it didn't quite work. So I had 4 lots plus maybe 1 or 2 others, which I had to do separately. And then I also made the mistake of tying in Jamie Burgess's stuff that he was so gracious to bring along and raffle off. What I should have done is let Jamie come up and do that himself. I should have allowed Jamie to do that and kept that completely separate from the 49ers items. So that's another learning exercise. We had the sound. It was fine. The staff were brilliant. The staff were brilliant each time we've been there. They were really good. A big plus point for me was they sold Guinness non-alcoholic beer. So I was just knocking back the Guinnesses, and everybody was thinking, yeah, he's going to be absolutely trolleyed him. You're not going to be able to understand the word he's saying, but it was alcohol free, so that was good. And it was a good location as well, because we all enjoyed the afternoon. Obviously, Martin was out from 2:00 in the afternoon. Me and Andy got there, I think it was 3:30. We got into the Merchant, which was about a 10-minute walk away from the box. And I think everybody enjoyed themselves. In fact, I know everybody enjoyed themselves. And it was just another really good meetup.
So
I just wish those people, had I known people were going to go at half time, I'd have tried to convince them. I'd have said, look, stick with it, because we can easily turn this game around. Because we've got so much firepower on offense. All we need is a couple of stops on defense, and it'll be a completely different game. And I'd said to Andy Hutchinson, when we had that first, when the Lions went for it on that first 4th down, I said, this is the turning point. This is what's going to change the game. We're going to stop this, and then it's going to be all us. And it was. That's what happened.
So I don't know if you caught the show last week, Ty. So I have a good friend who's a Lions fan, Andy, and he joined us.
Yeah, I watched it.
So obviously he wasn't at a watch party. So I was texting him, as you can imagine, first half. He was in Dreamland, and he mentioned to me that this game wasn't over. Now, I'm known for being Mr. Positive. Now, before the turnover happened, I texted him and said, a turnover's happening in a minute. A pick six is happening. 24-24, going into the 3rd quarter. And he just sent me the laughing emoji back. And then the turnover happened. And the first touchdown. Then the second touchdown. So for me and Gareth, we were at home trying to be quiet, trying to keep all this emotion in. Seeing the footage from the bar, which was unusual because in England, the bars aren't open as late as that Sunday. It must have felt unreal for you as well. Like us, you're a Niners fan. At halftime, it the game was done. I'm guessing you kept the faith. You always knew that our boys are going to come out fighting.
Yeah. I did not give up hope. I was, I mentioned I stay off the phone, but I was texting with Jess and Matt and Rebecca from my East Coast Red and Gold crew, who we, shameless plug, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're having Bruce Kittle and Emma Kittle. Yes, those Kittles will be guests on our podcast tonight.
You got my attention there.
If you're not staying up, catch the replay, because we did ask if George's I said his name, if Bruce's son can join. Yeah, that guy.
So we won't be able to watch live, but surely you're going to give a shout out to Club 85 and the origin story.
Indeed.
Oh no! So what time does that show go?
I'll tell you what. Probably Emma or Bruce won't know the answer to this, but it's worth asking the question. So we sent across a UK Faithful flag, and the way it was delivered to both George Kittle and Sammy Womack, they were basically put in their lockers. I've reached out to Sammy many times, and I've never gotten an answer as to whether or not he got that flag. It would be good if you can find out whether or not George has mentioned anything about receiving the UK Faithful flag.
Yeah, I'll definitely ask.
So
not a problem.
You normally go live. It's late for us, isn't it? So where you are now is 4:00 in the afternoon. So you normally go live evening your time. Is that right, Ty?
Yes, 8 p.m. Eastern time is where we normally do it. Every Wednesday at that time. We go live. Sometimes we have guests. Sometimes it's just us. But tonight should be a good one.
So is that on your channel, the Stay Faithful VIP?
No,
or is it
that's on the East Coast Red and Gold channel.
So I didn't fly that banner, everyone. But if you follow me on Twitter, I do normally share Ty stuff because he shares our stuff. So rest assured with Ty, you've dropped Club 85 is going to be appearing in some form. So we will watch back. So that is good.
Indeed. Yeah. But to answer your question, I'm sorry, I kind of veered off because shameless plug, like I said.
What we do on the live. It's what we do.
That's what the live is. Yeah. But I didn't give up hope. I didn't give up faith. I stayed faithful. I was texting Justin, those guys. I was like, look, the first half wasn't as bad. We just didn't sustain drives. And we will make second half adjustments on defense. It's what Steve Wilkes does. And these guys will get it together. And as I'm listening to the halftime show, of course, Journeys is playing Don't Stop Believing. And I text them. I was like, they're singing Don't Stop Believing for a reason. We're going to come back and win this thing. And sure enough, it happened. And of course, I'm looking at my TV doing all the heebie-jeebie things I can do to the Lions to get them to mess up, right? Like mess up. Ooh, So, yeah.
So, Gareth, you're still with us. We've put the curse to bed. So, we broke the news. The watch party, the Super Bowl watch party is going to be in Leeds. Have you booked your hotel?
I've booked a train ticket. I was going to see where everyone else was staying. So, I can't imagine Leeds is going to be that rammed on a random Sunday night in February. So
there's a couple of options. So Leeds United isn't in the city centre, Ty. So some people are opting to stay in the city centre. Some people are staying at the Premier Inn near Ellen Road. Gareth, so it just depends on whether you want to stumble home at the end of the night. Now, what I did want to say, Lee, is I'm not drinking alcohol at the moment. It's just a choice I've made. So we've had some comments, Ty, from people who've seen the watch parties. They've seen how amazing they are, but they've reached out and they've said, can we come if we want to be in the background a little bit, or if drinking isn't our scene? And I just want to say to these people, Lee, that there is a good mix. If you want to get involved in 20 fireballs, if you want to get involved in the drinking alcohol, that side of it's there. But we do pride ourselves on letting everybody come. So I just wanted to get that message out there, Lee, because I think it did look pretty epic on Sunday. Have you got some more news for us? Because look at that smile on his face.
No,
he's been checking his phone.
Yeah, I'm just smiling at the fact that you said we pride ourselves on whatever. I mean, there's a few in that comments list there that pride themselves on how much they could drink based off Sunday afternoon. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, chaps, is there anything else, or do you think we should let everybody get on out of here and book the travel?
I was going to say, I think we should let everybody go and book the travel in the hotel. Yeah. I've just booked Ellen Road Premier Inn, the same as everybody else there.
Right. Well, Ty, you're always welcome to join us. We have teased that Gareth and Nadji might be regular guests, but I am quite proud that we've had you two as our first guests. It is something we're trying to evolve with the 49er Faithful UK Live. If you do want to be a guest on the show, do send me a DM. I will compile a list. We are keen to get the Faithful on. And chaps, I think it's safe for me to say, all, Gareth, that is left for us to say at this time of the show is stay safe and go Niners.
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
Go Niners.
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in our heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, deep card. Garrison Hurst.